Welcome back. Live from Davos this morning. Futures are indicating a gain at the start of trading this morning. It is just fractional. The Dow Industrials right now up 22. The S&P up 6. The Nasdaq higher by about 20 points. Goldman Sachs posted its worst earnings miss in a decade, dragging down markets yesterday. The stock finished down 6%. It is flat this morning, as you can see. Joining me right now is the global co-head of banking, capital markets, and advisory at Citi. Tyler Dickson is with me. Tyler, it's great to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to get your take first on markets. How do they feel to you after a rough 2022?
We're feeling a little bit better about markets in 2023. Well, the economic picture, potential slowdowns in certain parts of the world are certainly affecting people's confidence. Some of the news that's coming out of Davos here, the strength in China, maybe a less negative environment for Europe, and a shallow or slowdown in the U.S., I think are giving the institutions we're talking to, both public sector and private sector, a bit more confidence that we should see a more active and robust 2023 than we certainly saw in 2022.
Well, we're coming off of rough numbers. Global IPO activity down 45% in 2022. In the U.S., IPO activity falling to levels not seen since the financial crisis of 2008. Are there things on the shelf right now that you think will come off the shelf this year?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the Street has a great pipeline of activity, both M&A and IPOs. I think it's important that we're going to test the waters carefully, so I don't think anybody's going to be bold and rush into this market. But we would expect M&A, which outperformed on a relative basis last year, to be the driver activity. You know, Citi's calling this the year of the CEO from an M&A perspective. Whether we look at activism, we look at strong companies having the ability to take advantage of low prices of some of the companies that they otherwise couldn't have bought at these prices.
Good point.
Looking at ESG and obviously some of the things around sustainability coming out of this market, and the reality that companies that have not been in good fighting shape have higher cost of capital. They'll have to make moves, and there'll be corporate separation transactions. So we're excited about the M&A market. Your point on the IPO market, it's important to put in context. Companies had time to buy time last year. And so our view is there's been an equilibrium, or a better equilibrium, about what sellers look at and what buyers look at. We'd expect in the equity capital markets to see activity levels follow where growth is coming from. And so we've already seen open equity capital markets out of Asia, given the confidence of Asian growth. We have 35 IPOs in the pipeline in the U.S. market that have been registered with the SEC. I think they'll come out if the market is appropriate. And we do see financing markets improving. So if we see a leveraged finance market that works, which we think is cleaning itself up, and we see cost of financing being attractive, we think the M&A, leveraged finance, and equity markets will be more active this year.
So life in debt and equity capital raises this year, as well as deals.
It's off a low base. It's important to realize last year is off of a record 21.
Good
so
point.
Everything's in context.
Yeah, it's a great point.
I think we'll see the second half of the year be more active than the first.
You said it was the year of the CEO. Your CEO made some real decisions this year or last year, pulling out of certain markets in Asia, including the consumer banking business out of China. How does that change things? Tell us about that.
I think Citi is sharpening our focus on where we have a distinct competitive advantage, and that's in the institutional banking arena and in the consumer banking arena in our home market in the U.S. I think our focus is allowing us already to do a better job of serving our clients, in particularly here at Davos, where you're seeing multinational corporates and governments come together. Those are our core client base. I think they're listening carefully what Citi has to say, and if they're going to take action, I think they're going to take action under Jane's leadership and our refocus on the things that really make Citi different.
How do you assess the mood when you speak with clients here in Davos?
I'd say people are nervous about the economic outlook in certain parts of the world. At the same time, there's an increasing enthusiasm about the prospect of taking action. And I think there was dislocations in the market last year that made it very hard for buyers and sellers of assets to come to equilibrium. I think we're seeing a much more sensible and rational combination of those factors right now. And so I'm hopeful for an active 23.
Tyler, it's great to get your take.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for being here.
I'm proud to be here.